brace yourselves because this one's a doozy, man. This one got me a little feelsy, all right? So I'll play it and then we'll talk about it.
Hey yo, I am going to share my burn story about why I look like this. It all started November 20th, 2003. I was only 4 years old, and my sister at the time, Jelena, was 7. We were really close back then, and we were playing in our backyard when all of this happened. Our older sister Leah was babysitting us, and no one else was home except Leah's little baby. Wasn't even 1 year old yet. So Joanna and I, we got a candle and matches because we didn't have any flashlights. And in the backyard was a shed. And inside of that shed, we built a fort made out of hay bales. And there was a stairwell on the side that we created. And we placed that candle that we lit on the stairwell. And I climbed to the top of the fort. And Joanna has to leave to use the restroom. So I'm alone in the shed. And I call my dog, Max. Max comes running into the shed. And he scrambles up the stairs. And his tail knocks over the candle. And by the time he climbs up to me and sits in my lap, I'm already surrounded by flames. I'm completely petrified. Fire all below me, around me. There's no escape. And then by the time Joanna comes back outside, she sees the entire shed is engulfed in flames. And she screams at me. And she says, "Jump, Johnny, jump!" But I tell her I can't. I'm too high up. And there's fire all below me. So Joanna runs inside to get our older sister Leah, who was babysitting us at the time. She had no idea what was going on. So Joanna says, "Leah, Johnny is trapped in the fire and he can't get out." So then Leah runs outside and she's like, "Where?" And Joanna points at the fire. And Leah has her baby with her right now, so she has to put her on the ground because there's nowhere else. And Leah holds her breath and closes her eyes. And she runs in the fire. She can't find me. And so she runs back out for a second time. And runs back in. And now this time she finds me. But she doesn't know why I'm so heavy, so she runs back out. And for her third attempt, she closes her eyes and holds her breath. And she runs inside the inferno. She pulls me down and drags me out. And the reason why I was so heavy was because my dog Max was sitting on me right here in my lap. And where he had sat on me was where I didn't get burned. Max perished in the fire. He saved my life. And so did my sister. And whenever Leah pulled me out of the fire, I wasn't breathing. I was completely disfigured. I didn't have a face or anything. Much worse than what you see now. So Leah screams at God into the sky, "God, please let him breathe."
Wow. He wasn't breathing, and his sister prays that his breath restored to him and he starts breathing. I mean, my God.
So I gasped for breath. And I'm in so much shock right now that I can't feel the extent and the extreme pain anymore that had made me pass out in the fire. All I see is my skin melting, rubbing it off my arms. And I'm saying, "Get it off, get it off." And Leah said, "Stop, Johnny. That's your skin. Leah got burned too, and she brought me inside of the house and put me in a bathtub and ran cold water, and someone had called the fire department, and they come running inside the house, and they're like, "Where's the burn victim?" And they point at Leah, but she said, "No, it's not me, it's him," and she points at the bathroom, and they come and get me, and they bring me to Le Bonheur Children's Hospital, where the doctors told my parents I only had 8 hours to live, and that my best chance of survival would be being airlifted to Shriners Hospital in Galveston, Texas. So I'm placed in a medically induced coma, and long story short, hundreds of surgeries later and thousands of hours of physical therapy, here I am today. Being burned alive is the most painful thing a human can experience. But on top of all of that physical pain, none of it amounted to what I was feeling on the inside, the emotional turmoil. It took years to get to where I am today. So on this TikTok page, I want to show you that being burned does not mean the end. It's just a new beginning. I am not a victim of the flames anymore. I must show you that you can still live. You can still change. You had such a range to engage. Break open the cage and embrace your flames. Don't be tamed or ashamed, because you are strong, beautiful, and unique. Not wrong, dreadful, or a freak. It's not over, y'all. Life is a test. Don't put yours to rest. Depression is our suspension. Don't listen to the tension. I hope that my words can resonate with y'all who are watching, and that we can just have fun here. I'll see y'all later in the next one.
That was beautiful. That was a beautiful story. Moving. His sister that ran in 3 times to save her little brother. I mean, that's heroic. Just heroic. You know, and I'm a dad, so it's like I got 2 little girls, and God, one's 6 and one's 2, and I would never want them to be in a situation like that. And it's just kind of wild, because those are just things that you don't expect. It was a freak accident, and it nearly cost that boy his life. But God, man, girl prayed to God, and God put breath back in his lungs, and clearly that was for a reason. His story is moving, it's inspiring, it's a story of perseverance in light of horrific circumstances. And I can't imagine the physical pain or the emotional turmoil of having to live looking the way that he does. I hope that we pause and we don't judge people who just because they don't look right or look the same, and that we show them the same love and compassion that everybody deserves. One of the most profound moments in my life was when I went to India, and we would go to orphanages, and there was this one orphanage that we went to that had kids that were horrifically disabled, uh, non-ambulatory. They couldn't move. Some of them soiled themselves, some of them smelled. And there was this one boy, he was clearly soiled, not desirable, tongue kind of hanging out of his face, drooling. And before I or anybody else could do anything, my team leader, John, goes over this kid, and he picks him up, and he starts tickling him and playing with him, and I see this smile come over this kid's face, and he just comes alive because he was showed affection for one of the first, it seemed like, first moments in his life. And it was just this beautiful moment that I got to witness. And I remember thinking, there it is. That's the kingdom. That's the kingdom of God. And it was just one of these moments that was profoundly beautiful. This undesirable boy showed this incomprehensible love, no judgment, no shame, and all he wanted was just to be played with, you know. It was beautiful. And there's a reason why John was the leader of our team, because he just demonstrated leadership in a really beautiful and authentic way that brought me closer to Jesus in that moment. And it's something that I'll never forget. And I think we should have that same mindset toward individuals like the one that we just saw, Jadian, and just love on him, man, and share his story, because it is a powerful one of perseverance and God's supernatural hand on his life. That God can take something as horrific as this burn and work it together for the good of those who love him, and spread a message of hope and healing to all who have ears to hear. And I hope you are hearing.